Stop playing with yourself, Hooper. Slow ahead, if you please.
You heard him. Slow ahead. Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Okay, so we should be upfront with you guys now that this project's original parameters were we each pick a scene from these movies and talk about the blocking, and in this way we won't just get completely fucking lost talking about this insane body of work.
But, like, it's Jaws. How the hell do you pick just 2 scenes?
Which then leads to the question of how the hell do you pick any scenes? So right away, this thing got away from us.
But that's fine, because the point is to talk about just the camera. Just what the camera sees and says.
And importantly, I think for our purposes, you can isolate any particular sequence during the second half of the movie Jaws and find a young director, doing amazing things with shot length and composition and scale, reflection, frames within frames, really tight editing, answer shots, careful choreography, things that don't make any sense but work nevertheless, and that's all wonderful.
You're gonna need a bigger boat, right?
Gotta get to work.
How do we handle this?
Hold on, Martin, I need you. He's circling the boat, Martin. Size it. Move on. Come on.
Amity Point Light Station to Orca. This is Amity Point Light Station to Orca. Come in, Orca.
Orca, come in.
I have Mrs. Mark Brody here.
Put her on.
Come on, Mark, move!
I'm not going out there.
Beyond the edge of the barrels. Go to the end of the barrels. Further out.
What?
Further out.
Why?
Go further out.
What for?
Will you go to the end of the pulpit, please?
What?
Will you please go to the end of the pulpit?
What for?
I need to have something in the foreground to give it some scale.
Foreground my ass.
But frankly, the best filmmaking, the stuff Spielberg does so well, is in the opening of this movie. The stuff where we get to know the thing waiting for our heroes out in the ocean.
From the beginning, the shark is represented through absence. The things the shark does, and I think we must call him a he. Antonia Quirk called the film a sexual metaphor, coming between Mr. and Mrs. Brody, killing a beautiful young woman, and everyone keeps threatening to smoke cigarettes until Larry Vaughn finally lights his after the shark has symbolically raped him by ruining his tenure as mayor after eating this guy.
Jaws is, notably, the start of the Spielberg reaction shot. The character seeing things before the audience does.
Here, when the remains of Chrissy, his first victim, have washed up on the beach, our first witness, this deputy, is in the foreground, but he's not the focus of the shot.
Right. Brody and the rich, horny guy are. They see something, and these combined reactions are more important than what we see. Of course, what gets Spielberg into trouble is he shows us.
Oh, Jesus.
He cannot help, for all his talent in presenting people reacting to the great unknown, but show us what that great unknown is. He has to always show us.
But more impressive is the economy he uses to gather setups and deliver exposition. Roy Scheider will walk into a building and we'll see him meet his goal without ever cutting.
You haven't got one thing on here I ordered. Not a beach umbrella, not a sun lounger, no beach balls. If I can't get service from you, I'm gonna get service.
Chief, Polly sent me to find you to tell you that there's a bunch of Boy Scouts out in April Bay doing their mile swim for their merit badges. I couldn't call them in, there's no phones out there.
Okay, come on, get out of there. Take this stuff back to the office and get to work on those signs.
All right.
Beach is closed. No swimming. By order of the Amity PD. And let Polly do the printing.
What's the matter with my thing?
Let Polly do the printing.
Or take, for instance, Robert Shaw's Quint delivering this monologue in one very impressive, very patient take. They cut after the first minute, and every shot afterwards moves in the same direction, a whole sequence made up of the John Ford dolly in on his actors to preserve the feeling of being trapped, of being pulled into this man's orbit, rather like you got caught in a riptide.
I'll catch this bird for you, but it ain't gonna be easy. Bad fish. Not like going down the pond chasing bluegills or tommycods. This shark, swallow you whole. Shaking, tenderizing, down you go. And we gotta do it quick. I don't bring back the tourists. That'll put all your businesses on a paying basis. But it's not gonna be pleasant. I value my neck a lot more than $3,000, Chief. I'll find him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10. And you gotta make up your minds. You wanna stay alive and ante up? You wanna play it cheap? Be on welfare the whole winter. I don't want no volunteers. I don't want no mates. There's too many captains on this island. $10,000 for me by myself. For that, you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
Or this, one of the best bits in the movie. 2 minutes, unbroken, on a boat, only big enough to fit 2 cars.
We've been on this ferry before. It's tiny. The camera does not have that much room to maneuver or move back, but Spielberg gets every inch out of it that it can provide. Every actor is visible by ambling, very carefully making it look purposeful, like they're just wandering around haphazardly in and out of the frame like you would in any situation where everybody's nervous about the things they have to say.
Martin? Martin, you gonna shut down the beaches on your own authority?
Well, what other authority do I need?
Technically, you need a civic ordinance or a resolution by a board of selectmen.
That's just going by the book. We're really a little anxious that you're rushing into something serious here. It's your first summer, you know.
What does that mean?
I'm only trying to say that Amity is a summer town. We need summer dollars. And if the people can't swim here, they'll be glad to swim at the beaches of Cape Cod, the Hamptons, Long Island.
That doesn't mean we have to serve them up a smorgasbord.
We never had that kind of trouble in these waters.
The medical examiner walks into the blocking, then back again when his part is done.
Well, I think possibly, yes, a boating
That's
accident.
not what you told me over the phone.
I was wrong. We'll have to amend our reports.
And you'll stand by
I'll
that?
stand by you.
Then Roy Scheider and Murray Hamilton are up front, with the trail of guys and their individual parts of the cover-up having been played.
Very Shakespearean.
I don't think you appreciate the gut reaction people have to these things.
Harry, I appreciate it. I'm just reacting to what I was told.
Martin, it's all psychological. You yell barracuda. Everybody says, huh? What? You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
This stuff is all at least as crucial to the success of the work as the more showy bits.
And certainly it doesn't get any more showy than the first attack on Alex Kintner at the beach.
Get my raft and go back out in the water.
Let me see your fingers. Alex Kintner, they're beginning to prune.
Just let me go out a little longer.
Just 10 more minutes.
Thanks.
None of them are from the island. It's just a big bother.
Well, they're bringing them.
Listen, all I want to know, I just want to know one simple thing. When do I get to become an islander?
Ellen, never. Never. You're not born here. You're not an island. Maybe.
We've seen Brody's World up until now, the bustling town, this kind of Music Man, Preston Sturgis thing, where the whole town is alive and bustling and trying to bother him.
It isn't until he's in front of the water, his nemesis, that things calm down, his perspective funnels.
A million things happen to Brody in this scene, but he is focused entirely on the water. Spielberg grabs every goddamn lens and trick he's got. Split diopter, dynamic blocking, Hitchcock's vertigo bit, famously.
The point of this section of Jaws is to get us into Chief Brody's head.
Honey, would you come here a minute, please?
Are you okay?
Everything's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Listen, if the kids go in the water and it's hurting you...
No.
And they can play out here on the beach.
All right, let him go.
Then, later, into Matt Hooper's head. Then into Quint the Shark Hunter's head.
I'll never put on a life jacket again.
And as the shark gets more visible to each of them, so too do these men become more visible to us.
How was your day?
Swell.
Jaws may be a rollicking adventure film, the ultimate film designed to introduce kids to the world of adult problems and movies. But before all that, it's a film about aligning us psychologically with its three heroes.
Which I wanted to prove today by cutting the shark open, but you want to let that breathe for... Nothing. Yeah. You're going to be the only rational man left on this island after I leave tomorrow.
Where are you going?
I am going on the Aurora.
The Aurora, what is that?
It's a floating asylum for shark fanatics. Pure research, 18 months at sea.
Martin hates boats. Martin hates water. Martin sits in his car when we go on the ferry to the mainland. I guess it's a childhood thing. There's a clinical name for it, isn't there?
Drowning.
And making us just as excited as they are to kill a shark and go home.
But also to ensure that we never really want to leave the world of Jaws. Maybe Spielberg's great innovation as an entertainer, making the most traumatic and horrible things seem like they too might be home.
1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about half an hour. Tiger, 13-footer. You know that when you're in the water, Chief? You tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail. What we didn't know was our bomb mission had been so secret, no distress signal had been sent. They didn't even list us overdue for a week. Very first light, Chief. Sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups. It's kind of like old squares in a battle, like you see in a calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo, and the idea was, shark comes to the nearest man, that man he starts pounding and hollering and screaming. Sometimes the shark would go away. Sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you, right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. When he comes at you, he doesn't seem to be living until he bites you. And those black eyes roll over white, and then... then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red, and spite of all the pounding and the hollering, they all come in, they rip you to pieces.
The movies were where the young Spielberg sought refuge from his problems. Here, as a director, he reaches an arm back out to us and invites us into his shelter.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I wanna go to bed. I had a little drink about an hour ago, and it's got right to my head. Wherever I may roam, by land or sea or foam, you will always hear me singing this song. Show me the way to go home. Show